Well, it's that time again, the Christmas season. The time of sharing, the time of giving, and apparently in my house, the time of painting. But I was struggling a little bit trying to figure out what we're going to paint today, so I'm going to leave it up to chance. Here on this piece of paper, I wrote down 5 different... Can you see me? I wrote down 5 different things. I don't know why. Can you hear me? You can hear me just fine. I wrote down 5 different things I want to paint, but I'm not really sure which one to pick. So here on this phone, I have a random number generator. We're going to hit that button, and we're going to leave it up to chance. Are you ready? Did it work? There we go. 2. It's number 2. A Christmas tree. So, I guess we're painting a Christmas tree. I'll see you there. Welcome back. And you know what? Merry Christmas. As indicated by the sweater, right? But I'm really glad that you wanted to be here, share a few minutes of your day with me. So, we're just going to jump right in. I don't want to waste any time. Let's make it short and sweet today, right? When we decided what we were going to paint, we said we were going to paint a tree. So I said, you know what? Let's do a black background. So I already went ahead and pre-primed the canvas, did a little bit of a gesso here, so we had something to pull out. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a simple background, simple foreground, nice tree, okay? We're going to start with the ground, work our way through the sky, so on and so forth. Follow along. If you're here painting with me, welcome again. Glad you came. Glad you what? Doesn't matter. Anyway, okay, so let's start with our 1-inch brush. And what we're going to do is let's add maybe a little bit of blue, all right? So we really want to pull this out and make it a little bit smoky. So we're going to grab a little bit of this blue. Can you see that there? A little bit of that blue. Not very much. See that? All right, we're going to start here at the bottom. We want to create our ground first. Now, as you're doing this, you're going to notice it's very tough to see. But we're going to make it pop out in just a second. But what we want to do is add it randomly. Just add it randomly to the ground. Not very specific, right? And add a pretty decent coat of this blue paint. And we're not trying to cover it in. I'm going to show you why in just a second. Let's see this. You might not be able to see this. You could maybe see a little bit of it, but not too much. But what we're going to do here is, just to make it pop, I'll show you really quick, is take that brush, you don't have to clean it off, grab just a little bit of white. We don't want to overwhelm it. A little bit of white, see that? A little bit. And what we're going to do is, as soon as we hit this with this white, you're going to notice that it really pulls that blue through. Right? It's not so white down here at the bottom. Right? It's almost like a light blue. See that? Oh, that's pretty. I like that. Now, this isn't necessarily water. This is going to be a ground, but it's sort of a snowy ground, right? But it's a nighttime scene. So we want to keep it nice and dark. Now, when you're doing this, make sure that you're pressing very, very lightly. We don't want to press too hard. Very light, right? Now, you can, if you want this to be a little bit darker, right? Add a little here. Maybe I'll do it here, right? Add a little bit of white, and then go back. Add a little bit of blue. See that? How it really pulls that blue out, right? See that? See it? Really pulls that blue out. Beautiful. Oh, I like that. Oh, that is really pretty. You like that? Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to put our tree right in the middle here, but we need to shape it out a little bit. So, it's going to be a Christmas tree. Let's say, give yourself a little bit of space. Maybe just kind of etch it out here like this. Just so we know where not to go. See that? Just so we know where not to go. All right, same concept here. We're going to grab some of that blue. Now with at the bottom, we just kind of went back and forth. Now here at the top, what we want to do, just some crisscross strokes, right? We want this to be very smoky, very loose. See that? I'm just kind of slapping it around. That's what we want. We want it to be very smoky here at the top. I want some of that black to poke through, some of that blue to poke through. We're going to put a little bit of white in here like we did at the bottom. All right, see, that's very easy painting. And if you're following along, just go random. Go rogue with it. There's really no rhyme or reason. There's no wrong way to do this. For example, watch this. You ready? Look at my face. I don't even know if I'm on the canvas. See? Super simple. No pressure here. No pressure. A little bit of blue up here. All right, you can bring it in there a little bit. We don't want to bring it too much in, but you can if you want. All right, very subtle. All right, now just to make that pop out like we did here at the bottom, grab a little bit of that white, pull it through. We want some of that color to come through, but not a lot. All right, see how it takes that blue, really cools it down a little bit. It's not as deep. And so I'm just kind of slapping it around, but I want to leave some of that black, right? We don't want to just totally eliminate that black. See that? We don't want to totally eliminate it. There's still some black in there. And just slapping it around. No real rhyme or reason to it. Just play around with it. Be loose. Have fun. Alright. There's some over here. Alright, it's very smoky. Now, you can even do this. Look at this. Little circles. Oh, that's fun. I like that. That's fun. We can do that over here, too. It's really smoky, right? We don't want to leave too many brush strokes, so you got a nice even it out when you're finished. See that? That's nice and smoky when you do that. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. See that? It's nice and smoky. And pull it through one side and the other. Pull it through. Right. Cool. All right, let's put that brush to the side. We're going to leave that for a second. All right, so let's start building our tree. But with our tree, we really want a nice dark base underneath it. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to create a nice dark base. I'm going to grab my, we'll say this is our large medium brush. This is every, you may know this, you may not, but every manufacturer of a brush, they put their name and then they put what kind of brush it is and then they put the number down there. So you'll be able to tell what number brush, but if you look, right, it's about that size. I would say that's about a half an inch. Anyway, all right, so we want to really make that pop a little bit and get some nice lighting in here. So we're gonna do one side of the tree a little bit lighter and the other side a little bit darker. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a little bit of my brown here, but I wanna throw just a little bit of white into it. Just a very little bit of white. And this is a good time to shape out the tree, right? Now with this, I just wanna, these little strokes, see that? Just little brush strokes like that. Just almost flicking it downward, see that? Right, grab that little bit of white. Right, see? Just play around with it. All right, see, I'm really just, I'm smacking it around. I'm really not putting any effort into putting this in. There's really no effort here. Just filling this side in to make it just a little bit lighter. And the other side, just a base. We're color blocking. Remember that? Color blocking. All right, see that? Just doing a little color blocking. Well, we still want it in the shape of a tree. See that? All right, just some color blocking. Really no reason to how I'm doing it, right? And then on the other side, we just want it to be a little bit darker. Right? See that? Right, a little bit darker, so I'm just using some regular brown. See that? Now, just so you know, in the description down below, I'll leave all the brushes and all the paints. So if you are following along, you know exactly what we're using and at what times. Right? See that? So half of it is lighter, half of it is darker. That's all we want, just like that. Just want a nice brighter side here, and a darker side on the other side. Let's give it a little bit here, right in the middle. Beautiful. Okay. All right, so while we let that dry, let's add, oh gosh, let's add a little bit of pizzazz to it, a little bit of highlighting, if you will. All right, so I'm gonna grab my smaller version of that brush. This is a bright brush. Again, You will know in the description down below what we're using at what times. Okay, so here at the bottom, I just want to brighten it up a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab just a small bit of white. Small bit of white. And I'm only going to very lightly press along the bottom. Right? And I'm going to do this sort of pendulum idea. Right? Kind of like this. Alright, it just adds nice touch to the bottom. Really pulls out some of that color. You see that? Press very lightly. Cannot stress that enough. Very light. Don't want to press too hard here. Not pushing this in. We're laying it on the top. See that? Laying it on the top. Now, the reason I'm using this brush specifically is because this brush has synthetic bristles. And the way that synthetic bristles move is they sort of play around with the paint underneath it, right? They don't really jam themselves in, these synthetic bristles. They just kind of play at the top of it. You know what, I like that. All right, let's clean it off. We're gonna need a little bit of this color of the tree down here. All right, so let's add a little bit of that lighter brown we made. Grab a little bit of white. All right, see that? And then we'll put some over here. And some just kind of pushed into the background. Ooh. A bit here. Oh, that's pretty. I like that. All right. Let's go with a little bit of a darker brown here on this side. Remember, it's all about the lighting. All right. See that? Just kind of pushing that in there. Now, again, pressing very lightly. I don't know if you can see that. Just a few hairs right off the edge of the brush. Nothing crazy. See? Beautiful. Okay. Now, let's, you know what? Maybe there's some trees that live around the sides here. Yeah, what do you think? Yeah, some trees that live around the sides, but then poke through. All right, why don't we do this? We're gonna grab some of our, now if you look here, I have two sets of white. You'll know why in just a second. But this, all of these, except for the exclusion of this one here, is soft-bodied paints. All right? Now, when I say, you'll know, because I'll ask you, you'll know what to do, because I'll tell you to grab either the hard-bodied or the soft-bodied white. But for right now, we're going to grab soft-bodied white. And we're going to make some, let's put some branches over here. Maybe there's some kind of cut through here. Now this is very simple, but it's sort of specific in how it's done. All right, so we're going to use our bright brush and we're going to press very lightly, okay? Very, very lightly. Now, what I recommend is holding it up here, right by the ferrule of the brush. That's what that piece is toward the top, that crimped piece. It's called a ferrule. All right, we don't want to hold it back here. If you do, your lines are going to be shaky. Your pressure is going to be off. We don't want to do that. We want to hold it way up here, all right? Very subtle, right? We're not going to press very hard. Just kind of let it go like that. See that? All right, maybe there's another one that kind of lives like this. I don't know, maybe there's another one that lives right here. All right, very light, very subtle. All right. Now, once you got the line here, let's put another one in. Just like that. Like that, right? Just kind of poking out through the side there. But now, a tree, or a branch in itself, right, they're always thicker at the base and get thinner as they go out. So, we need to make this thicker over here just to add that little bit of realism, okay? So what we're going to do here is we're going to follow that same line, but we're going to press a little bit harder, and then we're going to release the pressure as we go. Oh, that's pretty up. I don't know why I'm whispering. That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, all right, so again, beautiful. All right, let's do one here. All right, maybe it kind of cuts like this. And you can always add the pressure in the beginning. I just find it easier to sort of work it through and then add the pressure later. But you can always kind of do it like this, right? Adding that pressure and releasing as you go. All right, see that? All right, adding that pressure and releasing as you go. I like that. There's one that was in the corner here. Kind of overlap each other. Cool. All right, I like that. Subtle, I don't want to add too much. All right, now before we add anything to the tree, let's add some snow. Want to add some snow? I do. I don't know about you, but I do. All right, now with these brushes, it's a little difficult to add perfect circles every time, especially with a bright brush like this where it's nice and sharp like a little box. So we're going to cheat this brush. What we're going to do is we're going to turn it upside down. We're going to use the wooden part. Okay? Now all we're going to do, and we're going to use the soft bodied white paint, is just dip and tap. The more you tap, the more it runs out, right? Dip, tap, dip, tap. That's it, right? Should I speed this part up in post? Should I do that while I'm editing? I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Depends on how long the video is. Maybe I'll speed it up, right? But we just want a nice snowy background. And it's completely up to you, right? If you want a lot of snow, add a lot of snow. If you don't want a lot of snow, don't add a lot of snow, I guess. Right? Maybe in your painting, maybe there's a blizzard, right? Or maybe it's a light flurry. Who knows? And you can go over this like that. That's fine. You can do that. See that? Now, the trick here is, once you tap, get rid of all that white paint first, so you get different sized snowflakes, right? And also, don't be afraid to come off the canvas a little bit. See that? Right, see that right there? Don't be afraid to come off the canvas. Right? You can, if you want, to put a little down here. I would recommend not too much, though. Right? We want to keep most of the snow up at the top here. All right, I think that's enough snow for right now. All right, let's sort of pull that tree out, right? It's snowing in the background there. So it would stand to reason that there would be snow on the tree. So let's put some of that on there. All right, so we're going to grab now another natural bristle brush, right? Can you see that? Natural bristles. Because we're going to show you a little something unique, and we're going to use hard-bodied paint here. We want to use the hard-bodied white paint here. All right, now we're going to grab and pull it. All right, just like that. Grab and pull that hard-bodied paint. We always want to add that hard-bodied onto the soft-bodied paint. You see that? And what we want to do here is we want to tap it, fray it up a little bit. All right, see that? Fray it up just a little bit. All right, now we want to start with the top of the tree so we know kind of where it's going to live, right? So we're just going to put a tap, just like that. See that? Just so we know where it's going to live. And as we work our way down, we're just going to sort of go for it. You know, you can tap at the corner, really pull that through. All right, see that? Hear that? Right, we'll go all the way over it, right? We can go right on this darker brown too, right? Pull it out like a tree. All right, see like that? See that? That's pretty, I like that. All right. Don't let it get away from you. All right, that's all we're doing, just these little taps. All right, see like that? You don't always have to use a fan brush to make trees like this. Why would you use a natural bristle brush so it sort of pushes into that canvas? You see that? We want those textures in there. We only get those if you use natural bristle. You only get those when you use synthetic brushes. See that? I like that. And then we can kind of go all over the place. I'm going to do this really fast here so you can see. Alright, see that? How it just makes that little smoky area. Alright, this is the most tedious part of the painting. It's kind of getting these little in. Make the sound too. It helps, right? You see that? Alright. We got that nice shadow underneath. Alright, take your time on this. That's important. If you're following along with me throughout this painting, take your time. If you need to pause the video, pause the video. Right, that's important. You know? In these painting videos, my steps are always going to move faster than your steps. You know, it's important that you work at your own pace. You know, some of the steps in these paintings move faster than others too. So again, it's always smart to work at your own pace. You see that? Nice little taps. Just kind of push it in, that's all. But we want that nice darkness underneath to pull through. See that? Excellent. You can even take a little bit of that white. Pull it into the ground. Right? It sort of sits on the ground, right? It's not right on the horizon. Yeah, sure. Why not? Okay. I like where that's at. I'm going to leave it. It's Christmas, right? So why don't we add some Christmassy things to this? Again, just like we did with the stars, we're going to pull some of that out. We're going to use the bottom of the brush, but I'm going to use my 2-inch brush here. See how thick it is at the bottom, right? You see that? Nice and thick that is. We're going to use that. And we're going to pull some colors out, right? We want some ornaments on here, right? So let's start with, maybe we go a few red ones, right? So there's some here. Nice big ornaments. Remember, they're not all the same size. I don't know who decorated this tree all the way up there. It looks pretty tall, but hey, they made it happen. My cats would love this. Yeah, that's right, I have cats. Deal with it. Alright, let's wipe that off. Let's do a few blue ones. What do you think? You like that? You know what the fun part here is? Coming up with the colors. That's the fun part. Alright, let's wipe that off. A few yellow ones. So here, there's some, I don't know, maybe there's some hanging on. That. How about a purple one? You want a purple one? Alright. If you want to do purple, you hit it with a little bit of blue, a little bit of red. Yeah, kind of tap it. Oh, a little bit more red than that. Alright, you see that? Those little purple ones. Maybe there's, I don't know, maybe there's an orange one. Mix that in. There's an orange one over here and an orange one over here. This is really a full tree. Okay. You know what? Why don't we put a little garland or tinsel or something on there, right? Why don't we do that, right? It sort of comes this way. Oh, we can do lights. No, I like garland. We're going to do garland. And you know what? We still got some paint on here, so we're going to use this, actually. So we're going to grab a little bit of white. Just like that. Maybe, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe a little bit of brown. So almost this bluish silver color. You see that? Right, maybe it just kind of goes like this. No, can't use that color. Alright, let's do blue here. Brown. Just add a different color to it. Just makes this silvery color. You see that? Right, and it just kind of cuts this way. Sort of pokes its way through some of these. See that? Just kind of pokes its way through. And I guess what tree would be complete without a star at the top? I guess we gotta do that. Alright. We can grab maybe a little bit of yellow here. I'm gonna grab this on my liner brush. Right? And then just very gently, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do cross, like that, little cross, and then an X in between, just like that, very simple. Simple little star, right at the top. You know what? I think we're done. Alright, so we've got our Christmas tree, but we need to sign it. So again, down here at the bottom, I'm going to use my liner brush. Let's sign it in white. Why do people say it like that? Why do people pronounce the H? I don't know. All right, so signature here at the bottom. And that concludes the painting for today, right? It was a quick one, something fun that you could put up for Christmas, right? But thank you for joining me. It was great having you here. I hope you enjoyed this painting tonight, and Merry Christmas. I'll see you on the next one.